Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. Gold and silver and the rise of digital currency. Let's explore. Yes, we are seeing an increasing number of digital transactions these days. We're going to take a look at that and analyze it through the spectrum of an infographic from Visual Capitalist. Fascinating indeed. Digital payments, the evolution of currency. The payment landscape is transforming dramatically with scores of cashless innovations on the rise. And we've certainly have seen a great increase in the interest in this, especially in terms of decentralized digital currencies such as cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and the like. In 2019, digital payments reached a staggering $4.1 trillion in payment volume worldwide. Smart devices and a booming e-commerce industry were driving its growth. So here we have a timeline of digital payments. From 1994, Sting's 10 Summoner's Tales CD marks the first online payment in history. Yes, indeed. You may remember Sting from The Police, and this was the first digital or online payment ever back in 1994. And then in 1997, Coca-Cola introduced mobile payments via a text message. Wow. From way back in 1997. In 1999, PayPal launches its electronic money transfer service. We're all very familiar with PayPal these days for sure. 10 years later, Bitcoin enables secure, untraceable, decentralized payments. And that was the rise of Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency revolution. In 2007, Kenya-based M-Pesa creates the first payment systems for mobile phones. In 2003, e-commerce giant Alibaba introduces Alipay in China. And so actually the road goes the other way there around, so we see that. And then in 2013, WeChat Pay is rolled into the popular messaging platform. And then in 2014, Apple Pay launches, introducing widespread biometric authentication. As technology continues to unfold, it is clear that digital payments are creating ripple effects around the world, yet there is still so far to go. In fact, we can see, and understandably so, that there are geographical differences in adoption. Such as, in 2018, global payments revenues, they surpassed $1.9 trillion. So how does that break down across various regions? Well, you can see from this chart here how, it is broken down over the course of time from 2007 by the different regions here. And you can see it increasing, and it is speculated that in 2023, it will tick up another a percentage point beyond 37% for the share of the banking revenue. So 38% of these transactions are digital or will be in 2023. Fascinating indeed to see that. We can see the compound annual growth rate of global payment revenues from two different periods, 2013 to 2018, and from 2018 through 2023 estimated here. So you can see the different regions here, how much of an increase, and it's amazing how Latin America really is seeing this broader increase there percentage-wise. As the digital payments market expands worldwide and sheer numbers of cashless payments occurring across countries reveal some key insights here. And you can see Singapore's robust e-commerce market is supported by its high-speed, reliable internet and a young, tech-savvy population. So you can see here, and why it's number one here with the average number of cashless payments per inhabitant. But of course, Singapore is a very small geographic nation, and it's a very also progressive, a very much a free market as well. Um, and then in South Korea, as a leading purveyor of a cashless society, e-commerce spending accounts for about 6% of South Korea's gross domestic product. So there you go. That's a pretty big number when you think about it. Um, but Sweden could become a cashless nation as early as 2023. They are very much ahead of the game in that regard, if you want to think of it in that terms, where they're moving towards this digital currency and a cashless nation there. And you can see the Netherlands isn't too far behind, but still, getting up there. And the United States is kind of sort of in the middle when you think about it, but it is still progressing more towards a cashless and more digital transactions in that way. I wouldn't necessarily say we're getting, there's a fear of cash going away like in Sweden, but you think about it, we're getting closer and closer every single day, as most developed nations are. The United Kingdom and Canada are behind, but not by too much, when you think about it. And then you can see how the numbers go way down. And it looks like India has the least. It says despite a lower number of annual transactions, India's total volume of cashless payments rose 48% year on year. So it is dramatically heading in the other direction. But why is India so low on the scale? Well, it's based off their population, number one, and also the fact that India, like China, really do rely on gold and silver for wealth, and Turkey as well too. Gold especially is highly coveted and seen as the ultimate form of wealth in those nations. Pivotal factors including core infrastructure, consumer behavior, and rising revenues provide a glimpse into the rapidly changing payment horizon. So what is the future of these digital payments? One crucial factor underpinning the future potential of cashless payments is a rise in digital wallets. That's right. So we have these mobile wallets that are out there, 2.3 billion in 2018, and by 2024 it's estimated to be 4 billion of those. Digital wallets, as they go mainstream, transactional volumes are estimated to reach $9 trillion annually. Online purchases and digital commerce will drive this growth. So we can see here the value of global digital payment transactions are in the form of digital commerce and mobile point-of-sale payments here. We can see the rapid rise here from 2017 to 2020. In fact, it's predicted so much so that they're able to calculate this, estimate it, and model it out for the next 3 years here. 4.8, the 4.8 trillion here in 2020, 5.4, 6.1, and 6.7 by 2023. So it's going to continue to be a major factor here. And most of us, a lot of our transactions, we do it. I mean, I don't know of anybody that uses cash exclusively. Most transactions, for even those of us, even through a checking account, are done digitally or using our account cards, which essentially is digital. As transactions rise, key technological innovations will be instrumental to shaping the future, including messaging app payments. Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, and WeChat can leverage the reach of billions of users. Then we have voice-activated commands. Paying for gas, groceries, or retail via voice could soar. So think about it. You just literally speak it and the payment is done. Wow, in a bit, that could be scary, especially when you consider deep fakes, where people can take and model your voice with an application. Then we have cryptocurrencies. Over 1 million transactions take place twice daily on average using cryptocurrencies. Then we have peer-to-peer payments, such as a Bank of America and Visa are investing heavily into peer-to-peer partnerships. Then we have facial recognition. and it could replace QR codes across retail, transit, and airports in China. And again, that could be another one of those situations that could lead to a deep fake hacking into that type of situation. Then we have biometric payments, which have smartphone biometric security features, could spur traction across digital payments, such as fingerprint and that type of thing. Then we have blockchain technology, which is sort of tied to cryptocurrencies. We have 200 million blockchain wallet users are predicted by 2030. Blockchain, hash graph, and whatever the technology could be, that could be a ledger for these transactions that are out there. Then we have hardware and in-store interfaces. Square, Stripe, and Clover are driving new mobile processing integrations. So we can see that there's a lot of different avenues and ways, and to be able to see this technology grow for sure. Moving on here, we have the payment landscape is facing an extraordinary transition. Investors and consumers alike can stand to benefit from the transformative potential of this multi-trillion-dollar industry. It is definitely growing. So where does gold and silver fall in this situation for digital transactions? Well, it actually could be very beneficial. You've heard me talk recently about this and many different avenues, especially related to cryptocurrencies. If you have cryptocurrencies that are backed by silver and gold, several of them have been floated out there, several ICOs, but which one is going to catch on? Who knows? It's a little bit risky right now, still sort of in its infancy stage, so to speak. There's multiple different ones that are out there. You have major mints that are backing by silver and gold out there. Major bullion dealers. You have things like One Gold through APMEX and other Dillon Gage and other that essentially provide this backing, whether it be by storing value in digital form to represent the physical, or just transactions that are based off of a cryptocurrency or something that is backed by gold and silver. And so it is very, very interesting to see how this will play out in due course, and the role that gold and silver will play in it, I believe, will be profound. But as is always the case, and no matter how much technology is out there to check and to secure these transactions, even utilizing gold and silver to back them up, it's all about actually knowing and having the confidence that the gold and silver is there to back up those transactions. And that is really the key. When you have things like One Gold or other avenues out there where essentially you are putting money away towards gold or silver as it rises and falls, that is tied essentially to bullion dealers, where you save up for gold and silver and you can buy it in the fraction of a tenth of an ounce at a time until it builds up, and then you can cash it out for a product or service or a product on those websites. And I think that is quite fascinating. It's a great way to save incrementally for precious metals. But then you also have backed cryptocurrencies and whatever, or what have you, and ETFs, all different ways. Where we've already seen that with ETFs, and or do they have the silver and gold to back it up? Not all of them do. Most people don't really test it. People don't cash out, and so that is the key. That is the one thing that will always be, that will stand as a concern, is gold and silver, as whether or not we can get the physical gold and silver. But in the age of digital transactions, as time goes on, people won't care. It'll just be a platitude. Okay, well, it's backed by gold and silver. I have trust in that, but I've never actually tested it. It won't be audited to the level of some degree. Now, there will be skeptics out there always, and rightfully or wrongfully so, or what have you. But that is really the bottom line, is how much faith do we have in our transactions? whether or not they be with cash, because with cash, when you take a dollar bill and you utilize it, it is in your possession. But knowing that they're printing literally millions of these in a very small time frame makes you really wonder about the how much longer this dollar bill will last in that environment. And it's losing value by design by 2% every year. What does that say about a digital transaction where they can just digitize? In fact, they could do some of this behind the scenes like they kind of did with these repurchase agreements, and you won't even know about it unless you look at alternative media or business and insight news sources that people rarely pay attention to. It's digital transactions. There's no limitation because they can literally be digitized as opposed to printed or mined. And so it's going to create some problems out there for sure. But will people even care at this point or at that point? That is the key. And that is why, even in the age of digital transactions, I believe it will create, in a sense, a new revival of an interest in the physical gold and silver. And that is really why I think it could actually be good for gold and silver through these transactions, because there may be some people who will think outside of what these transactions are. Whenever you make a payment for a good or service and you just swipe your face across something, speak it, pull out your digital wallet or what have you, use your smartphone, use your QR code or what have you to make a payment. Those are, in a sense, in a way, mindless transactions. You swipe it and go. You've got the good or service. But you don't think about what's behind that transaction. There's a lot of complexity behind that transaction. And when it all boils down to, no matter what happens in the digital age of these transactions, one thing is for sure. Gold and silver will remain money. They will hold fast and hold true to these technological advancements. Whether or not they be honored in these transactions as the foundation for these payments is really a moot point, because you and I both know that no matter what happens with technology, even if we go completely cashless around the world, gold and silver will have value. In fact, probably even more so during those times. And you never know, we may see many more of these transactions occurred behind the scenes with physical gold and silver for goods and services, because we should have the freedom to use these for our transactions. In fact, we may see an underground movement of transactions in physical gold and silver in cases where we may not want to be tracked for a purchase, not necessarily for nefarious purposes, but just because. And make no mistake, digital transactions can and will be tracked, and that is a scary proposition for sure. Cashless society, everything tracked, every move you make financially, however you move money around, is being stored in the blockchain, in the hash graph, in some sort of digital footprint, and in a digital fingerprint. And for me, as somebody who uses cash on a daily basis, mainly because that's the way I've always done it, it makes me a little bit nervous. Not so much for nefarious reasons, but I don't really care that the government knows if I got gas at a certain place, or what kind of meal I bought, or at a restaurant. I just like the freedom of utilizing a form of payment that can't be tracked at my every whim and every movement. So there you have it. So post your thoughts below. What do you think about gold and silver in the age of the digital currency revolution? I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch this video, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.